Johnnie Walker Green Label Blended Malt Scotch Whiskey. Fab or drab? Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. Hey my whiskey curious friends, Mark here from Whiskey Whistle, your wise choice in independent whiskey and spirits reviews, bringing you a re-review of Johnnie Walker Green Label for 2019 in the new packaging. Now let's find out what that liquid is like inside that bottle, and there's more. We're going to compare that to the previous iteration. This would be the early 2018, 2017 version of the very same thing. I'll get that poured right now. And yes, I've got some poured already. That is, it's been sitting out for about 25 minutes by now. Anyway, so we'll pour some of the older version. This would have been bought, I think, in 2017, if memory serves correct. 2016, 2017, just so you can see it. So just a subtle design change. And the cool thing that they've done is now they have mentioned the whiskeys that are focused in this blend. And those are Talisker, Linkwood, Cragganmore, and Caol Ila, among others. You can check that out online. I'm sure you can find that. We're going to check this out neat and then also with water. We'll talk about the color of the whiskey. We'll talk about the legs of the whiskey, the nose, the taste, and the finish before giving it a Whiskey Whistle whiskey score for 2019. It's 43% ABV, by the way, so that's kind of a nice thing for a blended Scotch whiskey, blended malt in this case. Again, blended malt means it's all malt. Blended Scotch means that it's a blend of malt whiskeys and grain whiskeys. Okay, so first of all, the color. What do you see there for color for Johnnie Walker Green Label? Pretty much your standard whiskey hue, like a medium amber. It's not too dark, it's not too light. Surely there's a bit of color in there, absolutely. And we wish there weren't, but anyway, for the time being, this is what we're getting from Johnnie Walker. What about the legs? Let's see how we do for legs here. I roll that around to get the liquid close to the lip, and here we go. Let's check out those legs. Fairly slow to start, and a nice showy couple of legs starting there. Very nice. Yep, that's definitely got some nice legs. So we can expect some good viscosity on the palate, maybe a nice mouthfeel as well. All right, on to the nose. Now, the biggest change that I find for this one is that there is more Speyside whiskey. Speyside single malt being added. So I think that's that Cragganmore that we're seeing increased in quantity in the Johnnie Walker Green Label in the new packaging. Underlying, there is some waxy notes. There's a little bit of peat, not very much. Not as much as Black Label, not as much as Double Black. In fact, it's a little bit subtler. And this is the interesting change between the new one and the old. I've found the old one to be much more peat forward and had a stronger peat than the previous iteration before that. Okay, if you'd like to figure that out, this is the current version. This is -1. So the -2 was not especially peat forward, but this one really brings out a lot of pepperiness on the nose, and I don't get that Speyside fruity sweetness here. Anyway, let's focus on the current edition. So that's that's the extent of my comments. I might taste that just to let you know, but we're going to focus on this one. This is not going to be a versus style of review. Definitely very, very similarly aged. Quality on the nose, they're equivalent. Absolutely. All right, now what else am I getting on the nose here? For fruits, I'm getting some apricot. Maybe a little bit of very light berries. A touch of pepper. A little bit of a kind of a grain note. That fruit. Apricot. In fact, something tropical I'm noticing now. I'm going to go with an underripe papaya. All right, so onto the palate. Cheers. Very fruity. Apricot. A little bit of mango. That papaya I mentioned. A touch of cooked apple. The peat is more towards the background. You get a little bit of kind of puffs of peat coming through in the finish. The finish also is very, very juicy, very sweet, very fruity, very Speyside. So I really feel like this is showcasing more of the Speyside Cragganmore. I guess Linkwood. Okay, just to check out the old one on the palate. Much pepperier. An altogether peatier event. Now, it may simply be that Caol Ila and Talisker are in high demand, whereas Speyside a little bit less so. So they've tweaked it a little bit. And it should be very pleasing to a lot of people. I think this is a whiskey that everybody can enjoy. The finish, by the way, medium to long. Juicy, sweet, delicious. Puffs of peat there. Light puffs of peat. Not the kind of puffs of peat that Bart would like from the Scotch Test Dummies. Okay, with water. Let's see if there's any changes. The water brings out a waxiness on the nose. Like a liniment and grain, or something kind of like very fruity olive oil. Not the typical kinds you get in the supermarket, but the stuff that you'll pay $30, $40, $50, $100 for a small bottle of. Tiny hint of peat coming through here on the nose now. So it seems like more Talisker is coming out with water added. Okay, the palate with water. Cheers again. With water added, the event becomes a bit drier, a little bit more peaty, a little bit, just a little bit less of that Speyside I'm noticing as I drink that with water. It brings kind of a creaminess to it. And I'm wondering if this contains some Clynelish, and they're not mentioning it, which they might, because Clynelish is typically a behind the scenes whiskey, and outside of whiskey circles, nobody knows about Clynelish. It was not a selection for the classic malts of Scotland. Pardon me. So it's kind of like a under the radar malt. So that may be in there and it just may not be mentioned. Well, it's very nice. Personally, I think I preferred the previous version, but oddly enough, I actually really liked the one before that. Just something a little bit different. I think that maybe there was a lot of Clynelish in the second to last and the last, the two previous editions. A little more Talisker in this one, which I like. And then this one seems to be shifting the blend a little bit. Probably due to stock reasons. 15-year-old whiskeys have to go in here. So food for thought. All right, let's get on the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Johnnie Walker Green Label Blended Malt Scotch Whiskey. What is that going to be? Well, folks, the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Johnnie Walker Green Label Blended Malt Scotch Whiskey, that is going to be 86 out of 100. Yes, you heard right, 86 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Johnnie Walker Green Label. Definitely recommended. It's a very good price here in Manitoba for a 15-year-old malt whiskey. And I think that everybody should have a bottle of that on hand because it's really, really just nice to drink and the price is right. It goes with everything. It can be a nice beginning, midpoint, or even an ending if you're doing, say, a Speyside flight and end with that one. It would be nice. Or start with that one and then get into your Islay. Add a little bit of your Talisker to a glass of the Green Label to make your own special blend. All right, check that out. Try it yourself. Leave a comment with your thoughts on Green Label. Love to hear from you. Tell me what you think of it. Don't forget, if you've liked this review, make sure you subscribe. Click that link right over here. Hit the bell so you're notified of the future Whiskey Whistles. And please, if you really like what I do, come and join me on Patreon and bring your mojo to Whiskey Whistle. Patreon.com/Whiskey Whistle. Become a patron, all right? Take care, everybody. We'll see you for the next one coming very soon. Goodbye. Thanks for watching Whiskey Whistle. Be sure to subscribe and don't forget to give this video a like and leave a comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned next time to join me, the host of the show, Mark, as I explore more whiskeys with you. Take care now, and we'll see you next time.